time for it, but you have to love what you're doing. You really do have to love what you're doing, and you have to find a husband or a wife that actually allows you to do that and find some enjoyment in themselves. I'm lucky my wife loves people. And so even though sometimes I'm sure it's tiring for her, not always on the top of her agenda, she likes people enough, and she's good enough to know that this makes me happy as well, that we do a lot of it together. It really works out well. And this is what I would do for enjoyment anyway. I would read these policy-related issues. I would read things that are related to it. I would want to be with people. And then focusing on this, to me, the public service aspect of it is huge. I can think of no better way to go about trying to support my family than by doing this at the same time, hopefully helping somebody else.
Yeah, it's a great honor. I mean,
that's an honor. It's a tremendous honor.
And so, you're campaigning, and so how do you still have time to do all your congressional work and responsibilities?
Well, yeah, the campaigning comes on top of that. So that our job when we're in Washington, we're up and at it about 6, and sometimes we're not done until about between 10 and midnight. But when we're back here in the districts, usually good part of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some of Monday. We're around the district talking to people, and you try to slide a day out when you can, or in the evening if you can wrap things up. Join friends in the evening for dinner and things of that nature. So you find a way to work it out, and there's occasional weeks in the district when you might try to steal a day.
And Congress takes a break coming up in the summer months.
Well, right? August is what we call the in-district work period, because for some it's a break if they don't have a campaign, or if they, depending what their schedule is. We usually, in an off-election year, you might try to take a week's vacation, or in that period of time. In January is another time you might try to steal a week between the time you're sworn in and the time the president gives his presidential address. But most people also spend some time working in August, a good portion of it getting around their districts and making sure that they're in touch with everybody, and then in the campaign year, the additional time getting out campaigning.
Seems like you make it work. You've been doing it for 6 terms, going into the 7th.
Well, it works well.
Well, the main theme of this campaign, from everyone, is change.
Right.
And we have seen a lot of first-time voters coming out. A lot of the youth, people are comparing it to 1968. So what are you doing in your campaign to attract the youth and young voters coming out in this district?
Well, we've really vamped up our internet and the website.
I saw.
And we're working on that and getting that going and up to speed. But we also spend a lot of time on campuses and in high schools. We basically try to visit every high school and every college campus in our district several times during the course of the year. For 2 reasons. One is we have to be part of the education process here. So people have to understand the importance of their government and their involvement in it. And 2, they're vital citizens here, and we need their energy. And so we've always been welcome to that. I still consider myself a college activist, so you never sort of lose that. And I know that's part of what probably pained Hillary Clinton. She's of that era that was the change agents, and she's never lost that ability to want to change and have the passion for it. So it's difficult that somebody else comes along, as Barack Obama does, maybe one generation younger, so they're the change agent. They're both change agents. Yeah. They're both always fighting for the people that matter. They're not looking for the special interest. They're not looking to make somebody that's already wealthy wealthier. They're looking to try to bring some social justice and some equity to the situation. And I think that's what people want. They want their government to start focusing on social equity and justice, and not on just priming the pump for people that are already very well off.
Yeah. Well, going along with that, what are 3 things the next administration must change, in America?
Iraq. You definitely have to stabilize that area, redeploy the troops out of Iraq, and focus on international terrorism for what it is. This war on terror is the wrong concept to use on that, because that makes you think you're going to use just the military everywhere it raises its head. We have to cooperate with other countries. We have to get their intelligence and their law enforcement and their special forces troops up to the capacity to handle things in their area with just our logistical and marginal support as well, but be ready on those bases to use ours. But we have to engage everything from our agricultural expertise to our commerce to our justice, all these other things that go into the picture of making the world a more stable place, development, and things of that nature. So that whole international prospect, we have to look at that differently, raise our standing there, get the cooperation of the world back. We have to make sure that we have jobs, and we really mean to enforce your trade agreements. I think people have to know that everybody's a free trader, but there's some who want fair free trade. So we have to enforce our trade agreements and make it more conducive for companies to invest here and create jobs here than to get tax breaks to go overseas. Make sure everybody here has the education and the training that they need to be able to take those jobs, and support innovation and invention, and make sure that we put the research and development monies in there so that our young people can go forward as the next leaders in innovation and create jobs. And I think, of course, the healthcare piece is a huge piece of that. Find a way to provide security for families so that they know if it's moving away from an employer model or more people are uninsured, they're going to have a way to be insured and a way to ensure their healthy future.
All I can say, sounds like a lot of work to me. Thank you so much for being here with us. One final question for you. Well, the ball's in your court now. Your choice for vice president. What's your criteria for choosing?
Well, you know, there's so many political considerations as well as a policy. I'd like to see a choice made straightly on policy, somebody that could step into the job if anything should happen to our presidential choice, and somebody who can be, at least in some respects, a co-president, somebody that can take on an issue and be strong on that issue and maybe take the lead in it so that your vice president is thoroughly engaged on that. So whether it's healthcare or whether education or job creation, innovation, something along that line, to have a good, strong vice president that would be able to be another partner, not just somebody holding a position, but another good, strong leader in action.
You know, if the candidates, if the campaign is, not the campaign, if the cabinet is behind the president, you know, that makes that office much as strong as we would like it to be.
Well, I think the good presidents that we've had in our, you know, that we know historically have always chosen strong people to be around them. They were never afraid to have smarter people working with them. And I think that'll be the sign of whether or not our next president is a really good leader and confident in who they are. You know, if they take people that are very strong and very smart and put them around them.
Congressman Tierney, thank you so much for sitting down with us here on Currently Speaking. Good luck on the campaign, and we'll be right back with you on Currently Speaking.
Hi, my name is